welcome back to day 35 of Survivor 50 Seasons in 50 Days. I didn't just finish watching Survivor HHH because I did that last or early this morning because for the second Saturday in a row, I decided I was going to go play rugby today, which means I had to pull an all-nighter to get to this point. So I hope everyone can kind of forgive me just for I'm exhausted. And we didn't win today, so today we are joined by John Farrell, who's making his return from the last time we did this, which was Cambodia.
No. I think I normally I try and join you for the shitty seasons.
Yeah.
I've joined you for Redemption Island. I've joined you for South Pacific.
Yep. I'm pulling up the list. So yeah, keep on going. But I'm pulling up the list of what you have done with me. But yes, 20. Yeah, so Redemption Island. It's just. Did you just do Redemption Island the first time? You did China.
Oh, China's a good one.
Okay. You did China. You did South Pacific.
Yeah.
And I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's it. So we're doing another bad season, I guess, with John Farrell. The cocoa nuts are very adorable. I once they got rid of their whole beef and just decided, hey, let's just be friends. It is a very cute few, like be one friends, or two episodes. Yeah, one or two episodes. Well, it continues in Ponderosa. But one or two episode alliance that doesn't really go anywhere, which is what a lot of things happen with the season. Anyway, John, I know that this wasn't your first choice, so I can't ask you the traditional, why did you pick Ghost Island? Why did you pick HHH? But
I can easily say this would be another fun one that I could join in on, because this is a season that people either they have it very low normally in their overall rankings. But I feel that yes, there's a lot of things that aren't that good about this season, but there are some really good gameplay moments in this season, and it's not overly ugly in terms of personalities. It's not so filled with evil and hatred and like nasty players that I just never want to see again. I would love to see some of these people come back for another season.
And to this point, we've had two. We've had the winner of the
season. Yeah,
winner of the season, and we've had Chrissy, which I do think there was a lot of people that wanted Chrissy back. So it does make sense in that 50 cast, and she does have a moment at least in season 50 where it's like, okay, we have that. We have the moment where she does basically the Colby from Winners at War, or Colby from Heroes vs. Villains, where it's like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. But I'm actually just going to go do this. It is and we're going to talk a lot about Chrissy as this kind of goes along. But I feel like the big game move moment is the undercover mission that Ben kind of goes on, both in that moment, but also when he's spying on them later in the season, where it's a fun little editing trick of they cut to him as it's happening, and I think that's great. And so I do agree with you. There are definitely moments this season where it does resonate with me more than Game Changers. Now, spoilers, I still have Game Changers ahead of this, but like not by much. I think it's by one, because it is still just big moves, idols, all of the stuff that I just don't care about. And the reason it's less than Game Changers is there's nobody here to care about. You know, if you're not resonating with Ben, and you're not resonating with, I don't know, Dr. Mike or Joe or whatever, you're really having a hard time picking people out. You're enjoying laughing with or at Alan during the pre-merge. What's his name? I already forgot what's his face, who gave nothing ever, and Jeff calls him out on it. The firefighter.
Oh shit. JP.
Yeah. JP. Here's him. So John, just kind of starting, like, when this season, did you watch the season when it first aired? And what were your thoughts on the theme kind of going into it?
I liked the theme because it was something different than the typical Brain. We had already had Brains Brown Beauty twice now, and it wasn't anything like we had during the teens. It wasn't something based off of age and gender. It wasn't something based on race. It was some different breakdowns of people. Um, but I think they definitely missed the mark with some of the casting, because there was definitely a bunch of misses. And luckily, they got rid of a bunch of the, I'll call them the misses, early on.
The fluff.
Yeah, the fluff. There you go.
Yeah.
Pre-swap, pre-swap even. Yeah.
Yeah. The biggest character that goes home pre-merge is Alan. Because from jump, he's making JP take his pants off. He's accusing people of having showmances, all that, and like his blindside. It's not really a blindside. It's an idol play, but let's call it a blindside. It is one of my favorite moments of the entire season because it's one big character in him going against one big character in Joe.
Yeah, I agree. He had I'll continue on. I think he had his blinders on pretty much, in which like he was so dead set in trying to break up that Ashley and JP that like none of the other rest of the game mattered to him. He's like, we need to break these two up. They're a power couple. They're just over there having fun. They're not like Jessica and Cole, who are like legit like cuddling and kissing over on Healer Beach. No, these two are just having fun. They're becoming just like friends and whatnot. They're two legit, just strong, physically strong people that are young. Yeah.
Yeah, we have what, like, I forgot to send you the list. This is how long my day has been. I forgot to send the list of the recruits for the season, but not John. What is his name? Alan is one of them. Okay. And it makes sense because it feels like he is trying to almost play the role of a lot of characters you may have seen leading into this, and it just does not work. But it leads to a very entertaining couple of rounds, specifically when he is on screen. Outside of that, so I guess I disagree. Like, I don't like the theme. It did very much feel like they were scraping the bottom of the barrel, which, we're going to get Ghost Island tomorrow, which I feel like could have been a better theme if they had just done it better.
That I'll agree with also.
Yeah. Same thing with One World. Like, if Ghost Island could have been what One World could have been. David vs. Goliath, I think people put that higher up because of what happens during the game. But yeah, HHH is just like that last moment of, okay, we really have no more ideas. And then we're going to get Island of the Idols, where it's like, hey, we have no more ideas. But remember Sandra and Rob?
Why don't we just bring in like a sex offender? Like,
yeah. But we'll get that we'll get to that in a few days. We also get the Super Idol back.
Yeah, well, we get Super Idol for an episode. I mean,
Super Idol in general. And did we need, if they're going to bring it back, do you think they could have just made it longer, or like what was the point of it being just a one episode story arc?
They had this was interesting because they had multiple advantages this season, in which it was, hey, you found this, but it needs to be played at the very next tribal, and if you don't go, you got to send it to somebody else. So, because they also had the block a vote, that's where Alan ended up going home off of that, because Devin's vote was blocked that vote. And
both blocked. We just lose a vote for the first time ever. So you can't vote.
Yep. And Devin was all excited because he thought he had an advantage, and
that is not an advantage.
That is not an advantage. But then it's interesting because Chrissy holds on to that Super Idol and knows it's not valuable anymore, but she thinks she's going to play it off as a legit, just like fake idol, and then never does anything with that the rest of the season. Like, we hear about it episode 2, and then it just goes bye-bye. It's like nobody cares about it anymore. Yeah.
I read your face, baby. Yeah, and we're going to get to that specific tribal in a little bit because it is, like I said, it is one of my favorite moments of the season. But yeah, we are firmly in the advantage era of the show. I've spoke about it ad nauseum over the last 4 or 5 days. Of they just keep adding more and more things to the game to evoke big moves out of the players. And in reality, what they're doing is when people complain about the post-COVID era being, oh, they introduce all this stuff and don't let the players play. It's like, yeah, what do you think idols and advantages are pre-COVID? This is literally what they are doing. Oh, Devin doesn't get to vote in a situation where it very easily could have gone more south than it does. We have this super idol, which once again, it doesn't get played, thankfully, but we're bringing this back again. And even though the best version of it wasn't wrong, they could have just done that and would have made sense. We get, we were now in the era of, hey, if an idol gets played, we're going to keep putting it back. We're going to keep putting it back. No matter what, you can wake up in the morning and you will find an idol if you get up early enough. It just takes away from a lot. Go ahead, John.
I have to say, idols this season made me laugh. The fact that, especially the pre-merge idols, in which all of the camp idols, there's something painted on a random tree. It's like, how the fuck are people not finding these things? Like, because nobody found the blue level one until the swap happened, in which Joe, as my wife refers to him, as Bag of Dicks, or as I like to refer to him as Timu Tony Vlachos.
We'll talk about that because I do disagree, but go ahead.
But then also you get the last one of the last idols, Lauren's string and a shell idol. It's like that's what the idol is just that. Okay, it's kind of like the precursor to a lot of the new eras where it's like, here's 3 beads and that's your immunity idol.
Longer the days of a stick.
What? The stick is actually, I think the stick was probably actually better than a lot of the new era idols, but
yeah. But longer, and yes, and that's the thing, is just like, it just kind of felt like they were slowly starting to run out of ideas.
Yeah,
probably post Second Chances, but at least post Worlds Apart, where it's like, okay, we're just kind of going through the song and dance of, now we're trying to make big moves happen, not because they're happening organically. Like, we're doing this because, we want every single episode to end in a big move, which is not how any TV show ever happens. Like, every TV show, a season kind of leads up to these peaks, and these 30 seasons, it feels like every episode they're trying to lead you up to, like, oh, blindside, you didn't see that coming. And it's very egregious and game changers. I do think they do a better job of it here, where you kind of get the reasoning why some people are going home. But for the most part, it's just like, okay, yeah, it's a big move. The big, like I said earlier, the biggest, for me, the biggest moves, whatever that means, are Ben going undercover and then Ben going undercover again. Like, those were those moments. And I know that Ben catches a lot of flack, and we're going to talk about him as the game or as this progresses, but like, he's playing the Chris Underwood, playing the game that is given to you. And if the game is, we're going to replant idols, why wouldn't you go after them?
Yeah. I mean, I know, and we'll keep talking, but Ben catches a lot of flack for things that aren't in his control. It's personality wise, I don't mind Ben at all as a person.
I don't mind him.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that he's like a jackass or anything like that, but like, Ben he got lucky. And sometimes, that's what you need in Survivor, is you need luck.
Tom Westman said it.
Yeah.
It's social strategic and luck.
Yeah. But like you said, his going undercover and his playing double agent with Cocoa Nuts there, and when he blindsided JP and made Christy and Ryan feel like he was still with them, and then trying to play both sides of the fence. I think that was really what helped him really get some good footing, even though the healers were calling him King Arthur and all that other fun stuff. But
yeah. And so just going off of what I guess going back to the beginning of what these tribes actually are, where do you feel like you would be placed? Not because of where you want to be. Where do you think that Survivor would put you based off of your occupation?
As a teacher, I think and somebody that works with special ed kids, I think they'd probably put me with, I don't know, you know what, I could say, I would actually say they'd put me with the hustlers, because every day is a different grind. and we do what we need to do to get the day done. And even though every day is going to be different, we got to get the day done.
You're selling it.
So
You're just giving a confession, like when people are like, "Why is he a hustler?" and you just gave the perfect confessional right there. I'm a hustler because every day's because everyone will be sitting there wondering why he's not a healer. I think you just did their jobs for you, and I feel like I would probably say hustler, where they would put me, but who's to say? Once again, it's you said Timu version, Tony. This is Timu version red collar, no, blue collar, white collar, no collar. Of just, we can't do that again because we're trying to make you forget that this season happened.
See, I tried to actually forget about that season.
But we're just going to put a new coat of paint on it, and we're going to call it Hero, Healer, Hustler. And we're going to have to spend a whole season hearing about why these people are heroes, healers, and hustlers like we had to do in World Apart. I know you said that you enjoy the twist for the most part, and the casts are hit and miss. Who were some of the people going into the season, or just the first couple of episodes, where you felt like you were resonating with them? Like, okay, I could root for this person, or I think this person could go far, or even on the opposite, like, I'm not vibing with this guy or woman.
It's a lot. I mean, they did such a bad job with the early editing because I was rooting for Ben. I was rooting for Dr. Mike. I was rooting for Devin, a little bit Ryan. All these people that made it really, really, really far in the game. I really didn't give a shit about any of the people that went in some of the first, second, third rounds. And I can't even completely remember her name. The mom that was first boot on Heroes, because
you mean the Olympic swimmer?
Oh yeah, it's like they didn't give her really any time at all. I think she got maybe one confessional.
Yeah, and you're rooting for Chrissy to play the super idol in her because we're kind of done with this old woman has to go out first narrative.
Yeah,
and when she doesn't, it's like, oh, do I hate Chrissy? No, I don't hate Chrissy here. I don't hate Chrissy, period. But go ahead.
Then you get her little talk about why she doesn't play it during the next episode. And then the heroes go on a bit of a run. So I guess it was good that they got rid of their Olympic swimmer, that former Olympic swimmer. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, she's not.
She hasn't been in Olympic swimmer shape in quite a few years, but.
Brad Culpepper saying yesterday I'm a retired football player. It's not like I'm, upset. And they're like, yeah, but you're still a retired athlete. It would be great to have a former Olympic swimmer in some of these challenges in the pre-merge. Despite the fact that she is older at this point.
It's kind of like Nicaragua when it's like, oh my gosh, we have Jimmy Johnson. But
it's like, what is Jimmy Johnson gonna?
Yeah,
he can't coach us to a bit. I feel like this is better because at least she has swam. Yeah, you can't lead someone. Yeah. Excuse me. I think the biggest problem for me this season, and we've kind of touched on it a bit, is the cast is just not it. It's like they're hits. And you find yourself kind of watching them, but the people that you don't know, tomorrow's going to be way worse because literally off the top of my head, I can name 5 people from Ghost Island, and I probably could do a bit more if I wasn't so fucking tired. But here, I watched this until 7 8 a.m. this morning, and I can remember folks, but I can't remember half. If it wasn't for my notes, I wouldn't remember half the things that they were even involved in. When you rewatch this season, were there moments where it's like, I just totally did this happen? Yeah. Spaghetti Gate is a prime example of oh
my gosh, I completely forgot about that. But again, it was a fun moment to then rewatch because then Cole gets blamed for taking the idol when he doesn't even have the idol and he was just fixing his shirt. But some of the people, I'm looking back, I'm like, I know they don't make it far, but where do they when do they actually get voted out? Rourke,
One of the super fans on the show of the season, but gets no screen time, so we know nothing about her except for she's a super fan.
Yeah, I mean they only wanted to focus on the lovebirds and Cole and Jessica there on healers
and Cole almost dying.
Oh my god! I mean, Cole was. I mean, we'll get more into Cole. I feel too, but Cole, I couldn't stand Cole. He was an arrogant ass. I mean, Lauren was right in every sense of the word about Cole. That it's like he was being. I'm going to compare him to Puck in real world. In real world,
I know that reference.
In which he's like double dipping and sticking his fingers in the peanut butter and just being overall just like gross with all the communal food stuff, and then complaining that he never has enough. And whereas you got like Dr. Mike that's like, hey, I got this little fish. Would you like to share it? It's like
Dr. Mike he's so adorable. And oh, Mike, who married? Oh, Jeff say, oh, Mike, who married you? It's like he's not some like, come on.
Dr. Mike would be somebody I would love to see come back because he had that sweetness to him, but he had some sass when he needed to. And he never like really gave up until the writing was on the wall.
Yeah, and did you do that? Yeah. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm sorry, Mike. You brought up Joe earlier, and I know that that's like a running thing in the community of, oh, they were trying to cast Tony again.
Yeah.
For me, and oh, he's bald and looks for idols. It's like, okay, for me, that's the same thing when people tried to say that Tony was Russell Hantz, and it's like I never got the Tony Russell Hantz, and like with Joe, it felt different enough.
Yeah.
That until I started reading about how people thought they were the same person, I just thought of Joe as Joe, just some shit stirrer who tries to tell Ben he swore on the Marines or whatever, and you talk about
he's getting in Dr. Mike's face early on.
Yeah, that is the messiest moment of the season, I would say. Of if you're rooting for Ben, it's like, oh man, Joe's really stirring the pot right here, and I like Joe, but this was definitely one of those moments like, holy shit. All right, what do you think it is about Joe that because you're not the only one that you can kind of make that comparison to Tony?
I mean, I think when they, again, like you said, when the season first aired, it was the looks. Like, it wasn't just that he was bald, it was a lot of the facial, just like remnant, like he had that tan complexion. He again, it was the looking for the idols. It was just a lot of that attitude. But I think Joe was a lot more arrogant than what Tony was.
Yeah, it felt like he was playing 4D chess.
Yeah.
Or 5D chess. But he wasn't. He was playing the same thing as other people. It never felt like this guy is on a different level than everyone else. It kind of just felt like he thinks he is, and it's kind of fun to laugh at when he's basically, even when I read your face, baby girl. Like, you had a 50% chance of guessing right. Exactly. It worked. It worked. So, like, all credit to you, but it's not like you read your face, baby girl, and there's 5 different options. Because then it would be like, holy shit. Because Tony didn't even do that. During the merge tribal of Cagayan, Tony's like, oh, yeah, let's see if I read everyone correctly. And he places out for LJ. And LJ doesn't catch any votes. So, like, if that had worked, I'd be like, okay, so he's just better Tony when it comes to playing idols. As far as this pre-merge, but specifically the swap is concerned, we talked about it yesterday of too many swaps. And yeah, we go from, we kind of mix it up a little bit here, but I think obviously the most compelling tribal is the one that we ultimately lose, Alan. And I know we talked about earlier about everything that Alan is doing pre-merge. He's a former football player and all of that. That tribal, despite the fact that we get our first moment of someone losing their vote, And a very fun reaction from Devin, the call back to Parvati and Cook Islands was like, "Oh, that's not fun. So that is not an advantage." But we have this moment, and Joe has spent all day trying to antagonize people in order to basically pulling a Randy and Gabon. It's like, just vote for me so I can idle you out, and it works. I know he's not the most favorite person in the Farrell household, but like, what did you think of this?
Oh no, Megan's opinions are different from my own. I love listening to her because when I got to rewatch this was her first time seeing the season, and she is never one to hold back. Like I said, she refers to Joe as bag of dicks. But I loved that episode, and to be honest, even if Joe didn't read Ashley right, it was the perfect move to do, because then it's going to be a 2-2 vote, and then you have the possibility of it going to rocks. Joe's still safe. Then Desi would have become safe also, and the only people eligible for rocks at that point would have been Devin and Ashley. So,
and you're fine.
It's a win-win situation for Joe to play the idol.
And this is kind of one thing that Survivor does really well, especially in the 30s, is the difference in music per season. Every season's tribal council has different music that plays during it, and I feel like Game Changers and HHH are big examples of the reason I am invested in this tribal is because this music is on point, as the kids say. Like, I am invested in everything that is happening right now, and I don't know if I would feel the same if it wasn't this specific music playing. It just makes everything sort of better. But yeah, we do ultimately get to the merge. And did you sneeze? Bless you. I don't know.
Almost said.
Okay, we ultimately do the merge, and it's not the Ben show yet. And this is people, once again, I'm not a Ben defender. I'm not a Ben apologist or anything. I am a Ben defender when it comes to bullshit arguments.
Yes.
Bullshit arguments is like, okay, yeah, I don't like the guy, but you guys are really reading too much into this. For you, when do you think it becomes the Ben show?
I think it becomes the Ben show final 9, pretty much when the coconuts thing starts to happen, because that's when we see that change of pace in Ben and his starting to be over the top. Final 7, of course, that's when he plays his first idol, and then drops the Ben bomb. And he starts to have the theatrics. I don't mind theatrics because it draws people a certain way. Dr. Mike was doing that in the season. He even admits to doing it to get people to vote a certain way.
It worked. I mean, we've seen going all the way back to like Yule. Just like, the hat. Oh, bring Penner's hat. It's like, okay, we know what this is. Yeah, like we know what this is. Theatrics is not a new thing, and I think, and we're going to touch on this a little bit later, of reasons why this season is hated, and if it's warranted. Because as much as I don't like the season, I feel like the reason that it's hated is not the reason that a lot of people hate it, or the reason that I don't like it is the reason. It's not the reason. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're not an advantage person. And with there being so many different advantages out there this season, especially, and I don't even know if we want to consider the final thing to be an advantage or just a change in gameplay.
Yeah, it's a twist. And we have been on this crash course since 30 of just we have the vote duplicator and Worlds Apart. We have the steal a vote and second chances. We have the super idol brought back in 32 along with Ty's steal a vote or extra vote. I already forgot. 33 we have both, and we have a steal an advantage or steal a reward. 34 we have the legacy advantage that we got in 33 plus everything else. Here we get losing a vote, we get the super idol back, there's just
They had the sacrifice vote too that Lauren
yes.
has.
And in 34, we get the panel version of Jury.
Yeah.
And then here we get Final Four Fire Making, which is two staples of the game that still exist now.
Yeah.
Both of those things have been around, for pretty much a decade at this point. For you, just in the 30s, this doesn't have to be a 35 question. What do you feel like is the most egregious of all the changes to gameplay, in these 10 seasons?
I mean, personally, and it's not even one that people touch on most, but you brought it up. I don't really care for panel jury. I like for the jury to be able to go, each person to be able to say something, ask a question, do something, whether it's something as stupid as the going back and give me a number between 1 and a million, or whether they want to just go up there and try and make themselves look good or kiss ass to one of the people on the of the finalists. But when you have a panel, normally a couple of the jurors get lost in the fold, and you have one or two jurors that are just constantly being the loudmouth and just talking over everyone else. And it gets old.
It gets old, and it starts yesterday. And I feel like this season, it's not the craziest Final Tribal. I think that, and we're going to get to Final Tribal a little later, I think what the finalists are saying are more important than what the questions that the jury are kind of asking them. And I do feel like that is ultimately what kind of takes Chrissy out of the equation there. I feel like with Ben, and I think that moment where the wood is going off and we're getting Ben's backstory. I know people like to look, oh, that's the winners at it. Look at that, we're getting backstory. It's like, yeah, or we're just learning more about this character that's going to survive a long time. Having said that, I brought this up during 33 when people like to complain about sob stories and this, that, and the other in the post-COVID era. It's like, this started a long time ago. We get it with Adam. We get it with Jeremy. We get it with Ben here. Sob story is not a bad thing. It's just we're learning about what makes this man tick and what sets him off.
And I don't really see it as much of a sob story, but just again, we learn a lot more about the inside of, especially Ben, when we have the bamboo exploding, and you see the PTSD, just having that moment with Ben, and everybody's just wondering, hey, is he okay? And you're just letting him have that moment to explain and just be himself. It's not where it's like Jeremy, where it's like, oh, my wife's at home pregnant with our son, or my mom is home dying. It's not any of those type of things. It's, hey, this is what I deal with on a day basis type of thing.
Yeah. As someone who does like backstories on our characters, specifically the ones that eventually win the game, it's only annoying when the show keeps beating that over their heads about the players.
Yes.
Even then, I don't personally care about it. Yeah, I don't not in like a bad. It's more of a I don't mind seeing this because this is something that has always happened.
Yeah.
I think my issue kind of comes from, okay, cool, we can say we don't like it or we do like it, but don't try to pin this on post-COVID Survivor, because it's not a post-COVID thing. We've always done this. It's just we're watching post-COVID Survivor through not the non-nostalgia goggles of, oh, this is all different now. This is not the same as this. It's like, yeah, it is. It is the exact same thing. You just refuse to see it through this because you didn't spend all of COVID rewatching these seasons like it did these seasons. If you're the people that say, oh, HHH is so much better than anything we get in the 40s, I'm like, you're clearly just delusional.
Yeah.
Because that's not true. It's not true. Where do you kind of fall on that? Like, you don't have to give your personal ranking of it right now because we probably will talk about it a little later.
Yeah.
But Would you rather watch almost any season in the 40 HHH? Like where does that kind of go for you?
Oh, I mean, that's such a tough question because the 40s are all over the place, in my opinion. But like I would I if I were to compare like season by season, I'd take HHH over 41 any day of the week. 42 I'd probably take over HHH. 43.
I feel like has the same outcome as far as the audience's perspective.
Correct, exactly. It's very similar in terms of that aspect. And yeah, yeah, again, I'd have to go season by season. I mean, 48, we want to compare the sob stories. You're talking about Ava with her autism all the time in 48, and we're talking about Ben with the Marines a lot all the time in this season. Yeah. It's not, people aren't trying to, people want to say that they're trying to just push and push. And sometimes, yeah, they did over edit that part a bit, but I'm glad they did at certain points because it helped make them who they are. And they wouldn't be that person if they didn't have those things. I mean, we saw Ava with her breakdowns. I mean, it wouldn't have made sense if we didn't know that she had the autism. We wouldn't get to really see this strategic, strong mindset of Ben if we weren't talking about his military background. Yeah.
The Knicks has won the championship, so
they came back.
Yeah, they came back and won.
No, holy. Last I knew, they were down 15 in the third quarter.
They just won by 4.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, and as I get to the 40s in the next week and a half, I'll try to make sure I get some of those comparisons. The first undercover moment with Ben. Thoughts on it, and also if you want to talk about the little fight for the idol, fight for the idol, please go into that too. But specifically, just the undercover thing with Ben.
I mean, the idol fight was hilarious because the idol was already gone by the time they started fighting for it. Literally, Ryan goes to Chrissy, cover the hole back up, and that's when the fight ensues. And then people that didn't even know it was there started trying to jump in on it. I had to just laugh at that one. But yeah, that there was a lot of just poor secret management this season, I feel, in terms of those advantages that were out there. Most of that had to be Cole's fault, I felt. The whole entire pre-merge, I kept rooting for Cole to lose so that way I could see him go to a tribal and get blindsided because I could easily see that coming. I could see Dr. Mike turning on him, and I so wanted that to happen pre-merge, but it never did.
All my memories of Cole going into today were the exact same memories of Cole when I watched late last night, early this morning. Of Cole passes out. Cole has a flirtmans with Jessica.
Yeah,
Cole's a juror.
I whereas my wife referred to, like I said, Joe as a bag of dicks. I hated Cole more. Cole.
He's the generic white guy that has a name. He's not like the generic white guy like Banner.
Not just generic white guy. He's the generic white pretty boy.
Yes. Who's talking to the MILF, I guess, because Jessica's early 30s.
She's not a MILF. She's turning 30. She's the virgin.
Okay, so, but she's a virgin, and that's
she's the virgin. She makes a point to like. It's like, okay, thank you for reminding us where we are on.
Cole. I guess for me, Cole's just non-factor, except for those moments. So that, like, in my notes, I had like basically three Cole moments because and we're gonna get a lot of these characters. We get a lot of these characters in the 30s where either it's because of the edit or because of whatever. It's like, I don't care about you. I feel bad you just passed out because you're malnourished. but I hope you get laid.
No, I had to laugh because he's busy complaining that he never gets enough food, that he's not, if he doesn't get more food than other people, that he's not going to be able to perform as well on the challenges. It's like, do you see everybody else here? It's like, you got to be like, you're all in the same boat here.
And, yeah. Okay. So let's get to, let's get to Spaghetti Gate. Because once again, it's one of those moments where it's like, I remember this now.
Yeah.
But going into the season, it's like, I don't like, what is this challenge? Like, and I do feel like the way they try to game it is fun.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about it. And I've actually found some of the international versions of this setup better than the way they pulled this off here in HHH.
So what happens there?
I remember I can't remember which Australia season, but David Gannat, and there was a clue in the bottom of the popcorn machine, and he literally like empties out the popcorn machine while they're busy playing in the background, like the movie, like Things from Home, and he's only half paying attention to that because he wants the idol that's at the bottom of the popcorn machine. But this one, it's like, oh, it's underneath the plate. Let's hide a towel over it. Nobody's going to notice the plate that's under a towel. I hid stuff good.
I mean, it works for a couple, right? Oh, if like, no, maybe, or like I said, it was 1 a.m., 2 a.m. maybe by the time we got to the episode. I just felt like I just found it as a fun moment, I guess. And in a season that doesn't have any, I mean, we have one of the notorious horrible challenges in Survivor history of pick this from a bag and you kind of like just things like it's a throwback to the kite challenge in Marquesas of, hey, we really don't have something for y'all to do this round, so you're gonna do this.
Yeah.
But I saw it as a twist because this is how I'm watching these 30 seasons is everything they do is actually secretly a twist. And like it does work as a twist because someone does get screwed in the situation, or at least Chrissy more establishes herself as the antagonist of the season, for better or worse, depending on how you're watching it. Chrissy establishes herself as the antagonist moving forward. What did you think of just the Chrissy Ryan Ben type relationship? Because they do have that one big blow up. But what do you think of their dynamic here?
I mean, there was pretty much the dynamics of the cast from Final 7 on. And I'm going to include everybody in that small groupings. So that's going to include Devin. That's going to include Lauren, Dr. Mike, and Ashley. They all have these nice bonding tight moments in different circles that like had all of these just different interwebbings. Because Chrissy and Ryan had their blow up with Ben, but I mean, I remember more there was a big fight between Lauren and Chrissy where Lauren pretty much called her out for her bullshit. She's like, if you really wanted to work with me, you would have talked to me a couple weeks ago instead of waiting until right now. You had other small things. There was a lot of tight moments between them. And then anytime somebody did something that was slightly against them, it became the biggest blow up in the world. Whereas a couple seasons ago, we had Cambodia and you had the big voting block. That was the big voting block season. And people were like, you know what? You can fool me once, but you fuck with me again. Then we're really going to have to be tossing hands. With this season, you fuck with somebody once, all hell's gonna break loose.
It's game over. Yeah, it's game over. And I think he means Lauren right here, but same. Yes, I know the internet likes to call Devin smart Fabio, and I guess that's a fine comparison. But like, he's just Devin to me. Like, once again, it was one of those things where it's like, until I saw the comparisons, like I would have never thought of Devin as smart Fabio.
No,
a lot of he does end up.
Fabio made me laugh a lot more.
Yeah,
Devin was very smug and overconfident. I feel he always thought that he was at the top of the barrel and that none of his shit stank. That I
yeah.
mean, that's
The funny,
that's what I got on rewatch anyway.
yeah, his funniest moment we've already talked about, but his funniest moment for me is that is not an advantage.
Yeah,
It's like you can tell that this is not. It could be cut, but it doesn't seem like it is. It seems like he read that advantage and he said the first thing that came to his head of
yeah,
that is not an advantage. The other funny moment for me is the yeah, I'm sorry, Mike, because it is that big moment at 5 or 6 at 6
five.
5 5
Yeah,
where at least from my perspective there are at least 3 people left in that game with Mike still there that could potentially win. Like it
yeah,
does it is the Ben show very much by this point, but
yeah,
we don't know what's on the horizon, in that finale of what's going to happen next. So it still feels like okay, Devin could win, Chrissy could win,
yeah,
Dr. Mike could win, and Ben. So 4 people, 4 out of 5.
yeah,
Uh, because I never got the vibe that Ryan was going to win the game, even though I do feel like Ryan never does anything that's like overly wrong or anything like that.
yeah,
I know he got a lot of shit for his turtleneck, but like, yeah, you are in PG. What the hell are you doing?
yeah,
Um, I never felt like Ryan did anything egregious, except it just felt like because of what the edit is telling us of these are the 4 people. And really, if you remove Dr. Mike from that, these are the 3 people that you should care about.
yeah.
Um, it never felt like anybody else had a chance there. But I do feel like Devin's social game and a season of shit social games was probably
Yeah.
one of the better. Lauren going home and 1 vote in the idol play, and the good game, Lauren. Like we're shown Ben to say good game, Lauren, and that's something that we don't get all of the time.
No, one thing I noticed, Ben was almost always the first one to stand up and shake the person's hand
Yeah,
or offer a handshake to the person that was booted, say good game, and we got that out of Ben at least.
yeah,
Um, Going back to Devin, I have to say my favorite moment, and this is probably the Schadenfreude for me, was watching him go into Final Four, knowing that he's doing fire making against Ben, go in thinking that he has it in the bag and then lose.
yeah. Yeah, it,
But
it's and we're gonna get to Final Four in a bit here.
yeah,
We're gonna get to the Ben bombs though, because this
yeah,
is peak hashtag era, not
yeah,
only on non-Survivor, but specifically of Survivor, where they'll like flash it on the screen because we want y'all to be tweeting about all the big moves that are
yeah.
happening in this season. And this is one of 2 reasons that I will always defend Ben, even as a non-Ben person. The first reason is people, oh, well, the production was trying to help him out because they kept planning idols for him to find. It's like they're planning idols for anybody to find. It
Yeah.
just so happens that this mofo gets up early in the morning to do it. And I will use the same excuse that I'm going to use for the second reason a little later, where why would we rig the game for some jabroni named Ben playing
Yeah.
in his first time when we couldn't help Sari or Ozzy out last season. We couldn't help out, any like. I'm glad Jeremy Collins won second chances, but like Prod definitely had actual favorites on that season. We couldn't help Coach win South Pacific. All of a sudden, Prod is just going to say, you know what? I think we need Ben to win here. Let's just hide idols here so that we make sure that the jury votes this way and all of that. I think it's a bullshit argument, but what do you think of all of these idol finds? Because it does become like annoyingly repetitious because
I mean,
what's going to happen, but I
I
don't hate
agree.
it.
I agree with you that I don't agree with they did it just for him. He wasn't the only one going find. Joe found two. They planted too many idols. I think that's the bigger issue this season. And because you have Ryan going finding an idol, Dr. Mike finding an idol, Lauren almost having an idol. Um, there, it's the open here. You have an idol. You have an idol. It almost gets to game changers level, in which
Yes,
there's
where everyone just has something.
yeah,
Yeah, and if you're rooting for Ben, And I did try to do that today, last night, whatever. I did try to like root for him. It's like, okay, yeah, he's an underdog, but like he knows he's on his way out. And I understand the Mike Holloway comparison. I think the biggest difference is when Mike Holloway is doing it, at least from what we're showing on screen, we're actively rooting for this person because everyone else is showing us to be a shitbag.
Yes.
Here, Dr. Mike's not really shown to be a shitbag. Devin's really not. Like Chrissy's doesn't have the best social game, but like she's not like some.
She's not a shitbag. Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan has a turtleneck, but like he's not doing anything wrong. Lauren definitely isn't doing anything wrong. But we're kind of, and I think that's where the disconnect kind of is unless you are firmly rooting for Ben, it's just kind of like, oh man, now Ben finds another idol, and we're gonna lose someone we might like.
Yeah, that's where like when we get to Final Four and we introduce the twist, and it's like, why this season? And I go back, I'm like, well, this is a multiple of 5, and things tend to always change up a little bit in increments of something like that. You're not going to have a random change like that. It's like, it's season 37. Why we're going to have this big change in the format of the game. 35, that sounds a little bit more significant of a number. Let's do it in this season. So, whereas everybody's like, yeah, they did it right there at Final Four. Well, they had told everybody before the challenge even started that this was good, that there was going to be this advantage out there. So,
and I used to give the oh well, they didn't know that a jury was going to get removed. A jury was going to get removed and go wrong. But then I have to hear about, oh well, see, that's why Aubrey should have won. It's like, okay, no, that's not my point here. My point is not that. But you can take it however you want. Survivor fans are crazy. Here, and we're going to get to the Final Four fire making in a bit. The Ben, as much as I hate forced engagement, I hate hashtag Ben Bomb. It's like, oh, hashtag Ben Bomb. I do enjoy his theatrics here of playing to the jury because those are the people that are all. It's not production voting for you to win; it's the jury voting for you to win. So if you play to these people, then Joe's doing this. Like I told you guys get rid of Ben. Like we were being told that this is how the jury is seeing a lot of this. I don't give a shit what production wants or doesn't want. If you don't like, if the jury decides they don't like you, they're not going to vote for you. We had Russell Hantz 3 times and his punk ass nephew twice, and then like Nyanka and other people like that. How many times did any of those people win, even though they got most of the screen time? It's 0 because it doesn't. If production wants something, who gives a shit? The fan. There's a. I don't know if it's true, but Courtney did a podcast years ago where she talks about how during the final vote for Heroes versus Villains, Prod tried to like sway her to vote for Parvati instead of Sandra, and she's like, "No, I'm going to vote for Sandra." It's like, yeah, because ultimately it is the player's decision. It doesn't matter what Prod wants, and so Ben finding these idols, you hide them, At worst, if we're going to sit here and say, oh, yeah, they tried to help him out, it's like, okay, yeah, you hide them in plain sight. But you know who else is sitting in plain sight? Literally everyone on the same beach.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But yet Ben didn't find the first one that was pretty much hidden in plain sight at his own camp. So there's that.
Oh, he just didn't know. He just didn't know yet. He didn't know where they were hiding.
Okay.
He didn't know where they were hiding him. But like I said, the Ben Bombs, for what they're worth,
exactly.
Enjoy.
You play up to the jury. Them. You make the jury love you. You make the jury laugh at what you're doing, and if the jury can see that you're actually doing shit and having fun while you're doing it, normally the jury's going to eat that up and want to just see you keep doing more and more.
Yeah. And he does the rest of the season from the Lauren boot on. It's always something. It's always something. And I as much as I enjoy the Lauren Idol vote out because of the good game Lauren, because of the who did he go for moment, the Dr. Mike one is probably my favorite, and I quoted it a bunch of times tonight. But sorry, Mike. because that is the last round that you can play them. And he has the fake idol, right? At this point, he's wearing a fake idol.
Yeah.
And Ben Bum into the boot, blah blah blah. Ryan pans to he breaks the fourth wall of just like, this guy's ridiculous. It's like, yeah, he is, and it sucks because most of us don't want him to win. But while you guys were doing this, I was up hunting idols.
Yeah.
If this is going to be a game dynamic now, if y'all want to keep on adding all these things to the game, you got to expect someone to break it, because it took 6 seasons for Rob Cesternino to game. Oh yeah, I don't really need to stick with these people. I can. Oh, I mean, it's Marquesas, but like, of flipping back and forth. It took a couple more seasons for Chris to work all the way from the bottom and get rid of the all-powerful alliance. It took Gary Hawkins / Hogaboom 2 seasons after that to find idols without clues. It wasn't Russell Hand. The game is, if you add something, the game is going to be broken at some point. And this is what it is. If you keep adding idols back into the game, someone's going to, okay, yeah, I can just wake up at the ass crack of dawn and I probably find it before everybody else, because I know where they're going to hide it. Especially now we're in fucking Fiji. Like, there's only so many places you can hide it. Yeah. Thoughts?
No, I completely agree. It's, if you're going to put something out there, I'm going to do my best to take advantage of that situation. I've seen it in so many times in Survivor, seen it so many times in community live games. You put a situation out of there, you're going to do your damnedest to take advantage of it to win. You're not going to be like, oh, this isn't fair, the game is changing. No, you got to fucking adapt.
I'll make my apologies later after I win.
If you don't adapt, then your ass is going to be gone.
Yes. So yeah, we do. I know it's not the same tribal, but Dr. Mike throwing the idol in the fire, hilarious. But we get to the other big moment of the season. Ben loses Final Four because his U is turned upside down. Is it?
That's exactly what it was.
Or is it an N? Doesn't matter.
It was a U that, because then it looks like an N. Because it was one in Hustlers. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So before we, or not even, I guess it's the same. Chrissy ties the record with a bunch of other women, and we are kind of in this era now where the women's record gets tied here and then tied again a few times during the 40s. Brad Culpepper just ties the record in 34. That was tied again in 30 with Mike Holloway, and I brought this up during both Australian Outback and Amazon, because Australian Outback is when Colby gets 5, Amazon is when Jen Moraska gets 4 of. Are we surprised that it took so long for people to really start matching these numbers as the show progresses? And the answer, I could sit here now and say, yeah, it's still surprising, but like, it also makes sense why both these records have been hit a lot more in recent years, because we are now in the era where they are recycling challenges, and it doesn't start in the 40s. It starts here. We are getting the same things. You can I won't say you're gaming them, but like, you have time to practice them.
Yeah, I mean, and I was pointing this out while I was doing my rewatch. I was like, how many fucking endurance comps are we going to start off Merge with? Because I think they had 3 or 4 different styles of endurance comps to start off Merge. It's like, can we do something else besides an endurance? And it's funny because now we can play in New Era. It's like, can we have a challenge that doesn't involve a puzzle? It's
well, it got Desi on the challenge, so
yeah.
It got Desi. I don't even watch the challenge, and I know Desi was on there. I think that was a season that I did watch.
Well, Ben ends up being on the challenge too.
Ben ends up being on the challenge too.
Ends up winning actually one of the seasons of Challenge USA. Or sorry, not winning, was the runner-up to Sarah.
I thought that what's his Danny? I thought Danny. No, did
Danny won? Ben was runner-up.
Okay, so we get to the Final Four, and we know that something's going to happen. We're being told that, at least.
Yeah.
And this is where the other part of the fandom will go, oh, they of course they introduced it here because they wanted him to win. It's like,
Yeah.
once again, why would you not rig the game for Ken in Thailand, who
Yep.
was a 9/11 first responder and a cop in New York City right after 9/11? Why do you not rig it for him, but you rig it for Ben in 2017, where we're like, yeah, we're still fighting places, but like it would have hit a lot harder in 2002. This is also
Yeah.
not the first military person we've had on the show. This is not the first person that has like these at least shown PTSD moments. You know, it's not like Ben is the first whatever, and
Yeah.
the fact that people will continue to hang their hat on. Oh well, it was rigged. It has to be. We've never rigged before or since, but this time it's definitely for Ben. Final Four firemaking, I think, is obviously, I think it's bullshit. I think it's something that has resonated with the casual fan, though, to
Yes.
the point where during in the hands of the fans,
They
I
voted.
voted for firemaking because I was voting in the numbers because I knew that the casual fan was going to vote for it. And people are like, "Oh, you're crazy." I'm like, "No, how do you guys not grasp that us super fans, as large of a population that we think we are,
We're still the minority. Yeah.
still the minority?"
Yeah. That's where
So
like we were
Final
all
Four firemaking.
also we were also upset and surprised when they when they had to vote for the twist. And of course the casual fan is going to want an abundance of twists.
Big moves. We're being
Yeah.
told to like big moves. Of course, they're going to vote for things like that. But
Yeah.
thoughts on Final Four firemaking, specifically how it's introduced this season, fair, not fair, all of that.
Again, it's the introduction of it. I liked the twist of how Chrissy was the only one originally to know about it. Um and then she was able to do what she wanted with it, and she actually did the best thing she could to try and take Ben out with it, because it was going to be a 3-1 vote. She knew that, and she pretty much let Ben just like sit there and sulk uh, all day, not knowing that he was going to have to make fire. Whereas Devin was able to practice ahead of time. She was able to give Devin that heads up and be like, "Hey, if we want to take Ben out, this is what you need to do." Um, and Devin just couldn't live up to the hype at that
Yep.
point. But
Obviously, it's a bullshit twist, but
yeah,
I do feel like at least how many seasons have we had? 15 seasons we've had mandatory firemaking. I would say almost half have been compelling enough. And I feel like because this is the first time, it's compelling enough of holy shit, like what if he does pull this out? Like if he wins this, if he loses this, you know, I feel like 36 not so much, 37 not so much. 38 obviously is one of the bigger moments of the season, is giving the necklace away. But I think because of how I'm watching the seasons, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm fine with this. We had Final Four firemaking last in 32, and it wasn't common enough that when it happens in 35, it's like, oh, this again. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
yeah,
But it happens. I think the problem is because it has continued on to season
since then.
50, people are just tired of it. Just like people are tired of the panel and people are tired of, a lot of other aspects of the game that started in this era. I think Final Four firemaking is the one that people complain about the most, and it's the one that's not going to go away. It's not going away. They're going to keep on going with this route because the fans voted for it in season 50, so clearly they like it. We lose Devin, and I know, like, I guess the common perception is Devin probably beats everyone. Do you have that perception?
No, I think I'm in the camp that Chrissy wins with the Devin and Ryan final three. Um, I think Ben was the one person that was going to be able to beat Chrissy in the end. Um, and if she was able to take Ben out with that would have been another thing. I think she would have been able to hold that over instead of Devin being able to hold that.
Yeah, because Devin's the one that beats Ben and Fire in this what if situation, but it's
Yeah.
Chrissy that ultimately decides, hey, I'm not stupid. I need this person to go, and
Yeah.
so Ben goes, and I still think that Chrissy still catches a lot of the flack that she does at Final Tribal of
Oh,
just
definitely.
the
But
social aspect.
I think Devin would have caught a lot of flack also. So
So I guess once again, this is like the fifth episode in a row I've done this. I know I don't do what ifs, but based off of, and I'm going to have to pull the jury because Survivor
I mean,
HH8.
you have four or three. You have a bunch
As
of
far
them
as like,
being healers, the OG healers.
yeah,
Um, you
five
have
two one, yeah, 5-2-1. And looking at this, like looking at the actual breakdown, it reminds me of the Thailand jury where like the first few boots vote one way and then the rest of the boots vote the exact opposite. And here, the first 5 boots of the merge vote for Ben. The last 3 vote for either Ryan or Chrissy. Like the people that had to live with them long enough vote the other way, including Devin, who votes for Ryan because I guess of their bromance from the olden days.
early on, yeah.
But Chrissy gets Mike and Ashley's vote, and Ben gets everybody else's. And I feel like Joe was the obvious going to vote for Ben. But I guess looking at that jury replacing Devin with Ben, and we can just assume that Ben enjoys theatrics and big moves and all of that. Where do you think that kind of goes?
Where would Ben's vote go in all of that?
Ben and like if you can pinpoint where other people could have voted, cool. But like if not,
I mean, you could have had Ben with his theatrics campaigning for somebody in that final 3, and I think he would have pulled for Chrissy. I don't completely know, but I think he respected Chrissy enough over the other 2.
based off of his final tribal and Winners at War, which it's a lot different. I do agree with you. I think he would have like vocally gone to bat for someone, and that person would have been Chrissy. I just didn't see why he would for Devin or Ryan. I guess Ryan maybe, but ultimately we do get a 5-2-1, which is our last vote until 40, where every finalist gets a vote.
I'm trying to think.
40. No, not 44. 45?
Let me pull up my records.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's not 37. It's not 38. Obviously, it's not 39. 40, 41, 42. No, 43. No.
44. No.
46? I'm just guessing.
45. No.
It's not 46.
No, not 46. Not 47.
Is this the last time that it happened?
48.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, like 48 was the same exact vote as this. It was the 5-2-1.
Okay, I was gonna say, is this the last time that it happened? But okay, so we're gonna it's gonna be about 13 seasons or days for me.
It then actually happened. It's a 5-2-1 again in 49 also.
And then 50, it's pretty straightforward.
8-3-0.
This is gonna be the last time for a couple of weeks that I have to and I do feel like based off of the season that we are shown here, it makes sense why all 3 caught votes. I guess the Devin one, once again, if we want to really go back to like the beginning of the game, it makes sense. Outside of that, I feel like Devin probably, like, I'm still shocked that he did that, but it makes sense because it's not like Sierra Dawn Thomas voting for Brad Culpepper yesterday. It's like, okay, you guys were aligned together, but I feel like this is you don't like the fact that Sarah fucking gypped you earlier in the game, and you're angry about it. John, before I get to my final two questions, final thoughts on Survivor HHH.
Again, like we've said, it's a season that it's a very blah for the most part cast. I don't think the season really even gets completely juicy until final nine, which if you're getting into single digits and that's where it starts to really get juicy in terms of gameplay, you know the season had a slow start.
Yeah. We're halfway done. We're halfway. Yeah. Or at least we've lost half the people in the cast.
Yeah. I saw some comps that I wish they would bring back in terms of even some of the endurance ones, like the crouching from hell comp, or the balancing something with the rod up on top of the table.
Yeah.
Things like that are different. They're still endurance, but they're different styles of endurance. It's not the Bermuda Triangle in the water for the umpteenth time. It's not a puzzle. It's something different. There were some fun comps that we got to see earlier on. I mean, I love that the first immunity comp out the gate and watching them do the roller coaster down. And it's like, oh, that was really cool to see.
And it almost kills Chrissy.
It almost what?
It almost kills Chrissy.
Oh. Those, lots of bizarre, fun stuff, but a whole bunch that just outweighed it in terms of the negative.
And not negative like Worlds Apart. Not negative
like the assholes. It's just negative because it's blah.
Yeah, because
you know, I mean, there is no suspense pretty much in terms of when you're going to travel. You pretty much know who's going to be getting the boot because the editing in the 30s sucked up until this point. Pretty much, you know exactly what's going to happen. There is no surprises for the audience.
Oh no, I feel like I disagree.
Up until this point,
I feel like I disagree.
Oh, okay.
Well, because Game Changers. So the reason I'm saying this is because Game Changers. I went on a rant last night where I basically said the exact
I keep forgetting Game Changers was right before this.
Yeah. Because we lose Michaela and Andrea Belke, and we're sitting there like.
Yeah. Game Changers aside, there was in terms of a lot of these new player seasons.
Okay.
You pretty much know exactly what's going to happen. You have a lot of the same personalities that are just out there that just don't hit home. And
not voting Chrissy because of the family visit. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and so usually when I do this, I have the reunions playing in the background while I record. Obviously, because of how I watched this past season, I didn't watch the reunion at all. I don't remember that. I don't remember this.
I haven't watched the reunion.
Yeah, I'm sure it does because, I think the only thing I remember from the reunion is that it's short this time.
I'll go back and watch the reunion tomorrow. But yeah, that reunions normally get ruined for me. But I'm normally wanting to go to I'm normally wanting to go to sleep at that point.
And I can't wait to shower and go to sleep now because it's been over 24 hours for me. Okay, John, last couple questions. Yep. One, who would your ally be this season?
I would love Ben as my ally. I'd have fun with Ben. You know me. You know I'm a theatrics person. I don't shy away from that type of stuff. I'd have fun with Ben, and we'd be able to blow shit up together.
I guess I would. Maybe Devin. Maybe Dr. Mike.
Oh, I can see myself with Dr. Mike too.
I can see, Dr. Mike. I'm gonna stick with Dr. Mike there. And then the final question: something that the modern day fandom would not like about HHH.
The modern day fandom, See, originally want to say, because there's so many comparisons to this one and modern day Survivor, because once again we have the horrible three tribe format. I hate three tribes with small numbers because, like Ryan said in the beginning, when you have tribes of six, there's nowhere to hide, and I don't like that in so many seasons in a row. What would they not like? Um, ship personalities. I mean, whereas there's so many people that you can cling on to in modern Survivor. Like, even if they're early boots, you're still able to cling on to a lot of the people.
Say is a prime example.
Yeah.
Say is a pre-merger, and I feel like Say is one of the more memorable people of the 40s.
Yeah. Yeah, and this just didn't do it. I mean, I liked Ashley, but even Ashley was kind of backseat, I feel, with a lot of the alliances that she was in. She wasn't like the driving force. She was just a number for a lot of the alliances.
A lot of one-dimensional characters.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of one-dimensional, like, not a lot of the people have depth.
No.
I feel like Ben has depth. I feel like Chrissy has depth.
I feel like Lauren had depth.
Yes. But it's not especially in a cast this large.
Yeah.
You
had Crazy Patrick that you got rid of third episode. And he was probably one of the more lively people, but he was gone right away. But he was also just unstable, I feel, too. I feel he would have probably ended up chopping off his leg with a machete by accident.
Patrick was one of the, because of HHH in my head, I forgot he even existed. I forgot a lot of these pre-mergers existed. I always remember Rourke because I remember her being a super fan and like getting caught, and it sucked. But like watching it today, last night, whatever, it's like who are these people?
Yeah.
And it's just one of those, and I'm going to have the same problem tomorrow, but I'm not going to have the same problem after that, I don't think. Some of the 40s, I think there might still be that issue, because it's only because I've only watched a lot of those seasons once. Specifically the back half, like after 46. All right, so that will wrap up Survivor HHH. John, thank you so much for taking the time to do this late.
Thank you for having me.
I am so excited to go shower and sleep for about 8-9 hours before I pass out watching Ghost Island tomorrow. Thank you.
Hey, you could create a preview for yourself. Rewatch while you're falling asleep. Watch this most recent season of The Floor so you can see Jacob on that.
Oh yeah. I get Jacob Derwin tomorrow. That's cool. But everyone, thank you so much for continuing to support. I've got 14 days left. I've got 2 weeks left. I can't believe it.
You're on the home stretch.
Done. But thank you to everyone that's continued to support. Make sure to be back, I guess, tomorrow for Ghost Island. John, thank you once again, and we will see you all soon.